So first of all, I'm going to talk about science resources. One of my favorites is the Science Encyclopedia. This is the hardcover version. You can get paperback. It's smaller size, but it has all the same information. So what I love about the Science Encyclopedia is it has the QR codes. So not only do many of our nonfiction books give you a website where you can go to and access other websites like games, videos, all sorts of stuff. Those are called quick links. Most of our nonfiction books have that, which is so neat because you can take your kids there. They're safe websites that have been vetted by Usborne Books. But the science one has QR codes too, which you scan and it'll bring up a video. So this, if you have older kids, I would recommend the illustrated science dictionaries. Now we have separate ones. We have one for physics, chemistry, and biology. Or you buy the one big one, the whole set, which has them all. So just, there is talk of reproduction in the science books, FYI. But I will show you one that doesn't talk about it, so if you have younger kids. But anyway, it's just great. It's a great resource. We've used this a lot, more specifically in Challenge than we have in Foundations, but that's a great book. Okay, and then at this cycle, we're talking about weather. So you can do, we have a See Inside, our Usborne flat books. Our flat books are so much fun. So this, you can see, hopefully you guys can see this. Sorry, let me move my camera a little bit. All right, so it's just really great. Talks about climates and sun and air, and it's just a fun book that you can use. We also have like a mini book about weather. This is our beginner series. This can be for like your 5-year-olds, your younger students. And I'll just show you, all our books are like this. There's a nice text to picture ratio. This is a great read aloud for when we're talking about weather. Like we're going to be doing flowers. This one's good. We also have one on owls. So when we do the owl pellet dissection, let's talk about atlases. Okay, so there's this Lift the Flat Picture Atlas, which is really cool. Again, all the Lift the Flat books, my son will look at that. So it has each continent, and then it talks about different things on the continent, and it shows where things go. So it's good for your younger kids if you kind of just want to introduce them to geography. This is one I love, the Geography Encyclopedia, because not only does it have an atlas, but it also has encyclopedia. So you're gonna use this in your, so it has like people of the world, earthquakes and volcanoes. We talk about volcanoes this year in CC. We do have one of those beginner books about volcanoes too. Rivers and oceans, weather, climate. So this, like, if you're only going to get one, like if you want one atlas to cover the weather and all that, this is a great resource. Again, this you can get paperback smaller. You don't have to get the hardcover book. Hardcover is 40, the paperback's 20, but it's the same information. Let's talk about history resources. Right, so this one's fun. This is Time Traveler, and it covers knights and castles, Viking raiders, Rome's and Romans, and pharaohs and pyramids. And let me go back to the encyclopedia. I didn't really show it to you guys. I'm sorry. So this is, this is the inside of the encyclopedia, and then here you get to the maps. All right. So this is what your map. So these are very detailed maps. All right. Sorry. All right. So the Time Traveler. This is fun. They imagine that they're in different places, and he has these like goggles that take him places, and so we go through that. So next cycle we're doing like pharaoh and pyramids and stuff. So you would use that. So like it talks about along the Nile and going to school, and then you would use this in cycle 2 because it talks about Middle Ages. So this one's kind of fun, living among the ages, what the Vikings wore, ancient Egyptian village, a Viking house, ancient Egyptian food, medieval banquets, kitchen inventions. So this is fun. It's $12.99 for your younger kids to kind of experience it more. That one's a fun one. But this is what I would say. Okay, so if you wanted to get a resource for a history resource for next semester cycle, you want to get the Ancient World Encyclopedia. Now, it has Greece, Rome, right? So it's going to be, and this is an example of the encyclopedias. Remember I was telling you, you can get the encyclopedia in hardcover for 40, or you could get them in paperback for $20. This is the size. So this is going to be the size difference. All right, this one does not come in hardcover, but this one would come in paperback looking this size, okay, but paperback. It's all the same information, but it's smaller. It's paperback. I wanted to declare that for you. So Ancient World, Gods and Goddesses, which we're going to use. There is, I don't have it with me, but we do have a book on mythology, Greek mythology, which is on that list. First Greeks, Things Fall Apart, all right? And you'll see, again, these have the quick links. So they're going to bring you to safe, fun websites with games and videos and different things. All right, so this is going to be a great resource as well for you. All right. We do have a world history one if you want to go that route. Some of that information in that little one is in this one. That one is more geared towards the ancient world. This is more broader. Okay, so if you're focusing on cycle 1, get this one. If you're focusing on a resource you could use all 3 cycles, get this one. Okay, again, you can get it in hardcover for $40 or the smaller version for $20, same content. So it has, all sorts of Hebrew, Charlemagne, Aztec Empire. Okay, it's full. I mean, it's full of information. So since we do our timelines of world history, what I love about this is it takes a time period. Okay, so let's look at 1720, and it says what's happening in Southern and Western Europe, what's happening in Northern and Eastern Europe, what's happening in Africa to India, what's happening in the Far East, and what's happening in America and the Pacific. So it tells you what's happening on each content. Let's talk about math. So we have these thing called math wrap-ups. I actually can't find my times one, but here's my addition. So it'll ask, so it says like, okay, you start here, 3 plus, so it'd be 3 times or whatever. So 3 plus 1, let's not do 1, that one's easy. Okay, challenge my brain. Okay, so 7 plus 6 is what? 7 plus 6 is 13. So then you take it, you go 7 plus 6 is 13. All right, and then you go 4 plus 6 is 10. 9 plus 6 is 15. 3 plus 6 is 9. You get the picture. And then if you'll see, it shows me if I'm correct. It's self-correcting. See, so like where the strings were, there's lines, and that shows you like so they can self-correct. So the goal is for them to do that quickly. You can buy the wrap-ups by themselves. I think they're $10, or you can buy them like in a kit, and it comes with a CD, skip counting CD. The songs are different than what we learned in CC, and then like a book, which I don't know where the book is. It's like a little workbook thing. So that's a good resource for math if your kids are struggling with their times tables. Another great resource that I have to have for math is the Illustrated Dictionary Math, because honestly, there are times I have no idea what my what my kids' math problems are asking me to do. So it's great. Not a must-have for a CC parent, but as a homeschool parent, oh my gosh, as a public school parent, I bet you need this even more because there's all this new math and stuff they're doing, crazy. So it's just a great resource for $12.99. But if you're still thinking about times table, we have Lift the Flap times table. So this is a great way for them to drill. Now on the side, it does have the times table listed out, but it will ask them, if 5 puppies share 20 biscuits, how many biscuits does each puppy get? And you open it at 4 times 5 is 20, so 4 biscuits. And at each page, it has some fun interactive. We have some activity books as well, like workbook type things. So this is just a fun little, if you want them to have practice with their times tables. Okay. Let's talk about Latin. This is fun. You don't really, in CC, we don't learn common Latin names for things, even in challenge, but this is just fun in case you want to have them learn what is a drum in Latin and what is a oil can in Latin, and just fun little things. So this is just fun if you want something to enhance your Latin for $13. Okay, let's talk about essentials. So in Essentials, they're writing a ton of papers and they have to use dress-ups. If you're not in Essentials yet, you will learn what those are, but they have to do like adverbs, ly words, and quality adjectives and all that stuff. And they're not, they have banned words. They're not allowed to use said, and they're not allowed to use pretty, and they're not allowed to use certain things. And so one thing you need to have in your library is a thesaurus. Now, I love this thesaurus because it goes by category. So insect words, go, get, go, do. Other words for get, go, do. Nighttime things, things we could do for bed, things we can have in the mountains. Words for clothes, words for ancient Egypt. Important. What's another word for important? Distinguished, notable, remarkable, significant, special. What's also about it is that there is an index in the back. So if you're trying to find a different word for something, it tells you where to go. But it's fun. It's a great resource, and it's only $12.99. So that's that. Another great resource. Oh, I forgot one for foundations. I'll do that in just a minute. Is grammar and punctuation. You're going to be learning. They're going to be learning. They don't learn that in CC. That's kind of part of their Essentials curriculum, is an optional punctuation lesson they could do each week. So if you want to use what's in that program, you can use this, where it talks about different grammar and punctuation, and then at each end, so like this is about periods and exclamation points and commas, and then there's a check-in. So like test yourself on commas and other punctuation marks, and there's a little like testing section. Okay, you could do that. You can also do one of these grammar and punctuation workbooks. So spot the prepositions when you're learning. This would be great for your foundation students that are older, that you want to add some stuff to. If they're not in Essentials yet, add commas, question marks. We're talking about parts of speech again. Let's look at verbs, and it's an activity thing. Okay, do I use I or me? So this is a great little option for you. One thing about foundations is this book. We do talk about the orchestra. This just introduces, okay, so for example, what do the drums sound like? Okay. My husband is sleeping. He's probably gonna be like, what in the world is that, if you can hear it. And then horns. Anyway, it's a fun book. Okay. Sorry, turn that. Okay, so those are my suggestions for foundations and essentials. Now, if you have some kids into challenge, some things that I have found, now we've only done A and B, so I'm going to show you those for A and B, but a lot of these you can use. Now, A, definitely they're drawing body parts, and one thing that really helped her draw those was this particular book, the First Encyclopedia of Human Body. It's going to be below their level, and that's okay. They are learning about how to draw, and you need a good reference for them to trace. Your teacher may give it to you, but they may not. So, for example, skin. When she had to draw what skin looked like, she used this. When she had to draw what the heart looked like, here's the heart, she used this drawing. Okay, so these are great. And then she had to do reports on the body, different body parts like eyeballs and stuff. She got some information from this, but we got most of it from the Science Encyclopedia. She had to do reports on animals. This would also be a great resource for foundations. Animals. It's a great resource for animals. $16.99, World of Animals. All right, let's talk about Challenge B. Someone mentioned they want to get the periodic table. This is an awesome resource to help them with GAP. They only do this the last 6 weeks of CC, but it's a great, fun way to learn about the periodic table for all kids. So this would be something you want to use in Cycle 3 next time around. Shakespeare, we have two great resources that I love for Shakespeare. Illustrated Stories for Shakespeare. Okay, this beautiful, the soft, squishy book, it's $20. And it has the stories, and it has beautiful illustrations. So this is Romeo and Juliet. It's an abridged version that's clear and easy to understand for your children, that you can read to them, to introduce them. A Midsummer Night's Dream. Okay, and it has in here, it has Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, Hamlet, Macbeth. All right. So that's fun for your younger kids. As they get into challenge, they're reading more Shakespeare. I gave this to one of my parents. She was also my kid's essentials tutor, but she was a parent. Complete Shakespeare. It has everything he's ever done, a snippet of it, and it has a front page where it talks about that. So this is a Midsummer Night's Dream, and then there's part of that in here. Okay. But it's great. It's a great resource that you're going to use in challenge. It has all his stories and stories told in brief, etc. So this, and it shows you on the side if it's a tragedy or comedy, those images on the side. And the last thing is in challenge 1, they start learning about politics a little bit. We have this new book, Politics and Government, and it talks about different types of politics. So that's it. That's all I got. So